Okay guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of our website making process. In our part 1, we looked at idea and design, and we said the idea is the concept that you have of your website, and then design involves making a prototype of the idea that you have. Now let's move on to code and testing. So these are the 2 steps that we're going to look at today. Okay, after having finished your prototyping, now you want to translate this into a real website. Okay, so first you have to code the website, okay, to bring life to it. So coding in basic terms, it involves writing lines of code so as to bring life to your prototype. That's the simple definition of coding. All right, you have to know certain languages. The most basic languages are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. All right. What is the difference between these languages? The difference lies in the syntax used and then the file extension that you have to use. For HTML files, you have to use .html extension. For CSS files, you have to use .css extension file. And then for JavaScript file, you have to use .js extension. All right, so that's the difference. Let's look at the tools you can use to code. All right, first let's look at text editors. Text editors include Visual Studio Code, Atom, Sublime Text, Brackets, Notepad++. All right, these are just a few of the text editors on the market, but you have a wide range of choice. Most of these are free text editors. Okay. All right, let's look at IDEs. IDEs, these are called integrated development environments. They are way more advanced than the ordinary text editors. We have Eclipse, we have Android Studio, we have Visual Studio. All right, and these they provide you with more functionalities, than the ordinary text editors. Okay, you also have the opportunity to debug your code, unlike in these text editors. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next two you can use is WYSIWYGs. These are called what you see is what you get. Okay, these include Microsoft Expression Web, Dreamweaver, and we also have a lot of them. Okay, but just here I've just given you a few that I know and a few that I've used. All right, over here I have Visual Studio Code. Like I told you guys, if you're saving your files for HTML, you give it a name and then you put an extension, a file extension .html, and then for CSS it's something.css, as well as your JavaScript. Okay, so I can make a JavaScript file here, new file, and then I can name it index .js. Okay, just like that. As you can see right here, Visual Studio Code recognizes each time I put an extension that this is a JavaScript file, this is an HTML file, and this is a CSS file. All right, so this is a basic text editor. All right, Visual Studio Code lies in between. Okay, lies in between the most basic text editor like the Notepad and the IDE, the integrated development environment. So it lies in between. It's actually good. Okay, and then let's move on to an IDE. An IDE, this is Eclipse, it's an IDE. The difference between a text editor and an IDE is merely on the fact that you have this extra part here. When it comes to the IDE, I can actually run my code here and I can see the results of my code right here. Okay, so I can type out whatever I want to type here and then I can see the results here. Each time I press the run button, okay, everything is going to come out here. So this is more advanced now. It's different from simple text editors. All right, and then we have what we call the WYSIWYGs. Okay, what you see is what you get. This is Microsoft Expression Web. as you can see over here. All right, the difference is that this environment gives me the design mode, the split mode, or the code mode. If I really want to just put code, I will just come here and start coding. Okay, so I can come here and say P, and I can come here and say P, and then P, right? Paragraph. This is my paragraph. The code mode, and when I go to design, I'll see my paragraph here. Okay, I'll see how it looks like. Or I could just in my design mode, I could just drag and drop the paragraph, right? And then I can write, this is my paragraph. Okay, so when I go back to code mode right here, now you see I have two paragraphs over here. So with this one, I get a chance to to use design mode and code mode, or I can use both of them. Okay, when I input into my code, I'll just see it over here. So you have a split screen, you have a design screen, and then you have a code screen. Okay, so this is the WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. All right, so these are the tools you can use. Now you are translating your prototype into a real website now. Okay, so we go back to our, so we have these text editors. So text editors, integrated development environment, and then WYSIWYGs. So these are really important to understand, and you must learn how to use these tools. All right, let's look at the fourth tool that I listed over here. This is online website builders like Wix, Squarespace, and WordPress. All right, these are just user-friendly in most instances because you get to just drag stuff, or you just get to edit stuff which is already designed for you. So it becomes easier for most people. So most people normally use online website builders. Okay. But it doesn't give you much of creativity, this one. So if you are more of an amateur, you can use the online website builders. It's still okay. All right, now after finishing coding your website, now you want to test it so that now you can publish your website. Okay, so what is web testing? All right, it involves checking the functionality, the usability, the security, the performance, and compatibility of your website. Okay, so these are the aspects that you're looking at. Let's look at functionality. What are you really looking at? When you look at functionality, what you're doing is you are testing the functions of your website. For instance, if I click this button, or if I click on this tab, is it going to respond the way I intended it to respond? All right, so now you're testing all the functions on your website. If somebody enters their information on a certain form, are you getting the information back? Stuff like that. All right, and then you get to usability. Usability involves how easily can you navigate between pages. You understand what I'm saying? So some websites are really difficult to navigate. Like when you get to a certain page, you don't really know how you're going back to the home page. You understand what I'm saying? So you really need to to test the usability. How easily can you access information that is on the website? That is usability. And then security, you gotta check on, especially on websites that users have to input their personal information. You gotta ensure that their information is secure. So you gotta test this security part. All right, and then you move on to performance. You just ensure that you have you strain the website. You have a lot of people log into your website and see how it's going to perform under enormous traffic to your website, because some websites really struggle when they have a lot of traffic to their website. So you got to test the performance of your website. And then compatibility is all about using different browsers, because websites really they appear differently in different browsers. So you gotta test their compatibility for different browsers. Okay, so it's also part of the web testing. Okay, what tools can you use for web testing? All right, these are just tools that you can use. If you have games on your web, you gotta test those games. All right, so you gotta use iMacros. There is Mavericks, there is Test Complete, there is Test Studio. There are a whole range or a whole of these web testing tools, but these are just a few that I've listed over here. So you can actually use these tools and test your website, and you can actually find more information when you go on the website and you search for website testing tools. Okay, so each tool over here is different on how it functions and everything, but these tools are really important when you are testing your website. Okay, so that's it for this lesson, guys. I hope you guys understood what we're talking about today. We're looking at coding your website and then testing your website. All right, so we hope to see you in our next lesson, which is going to look at publishing and then maintaining the website. All right, thank you guys. I hope to see you next time.